Welcome to Royle Subjects, your go-to podcast for anyone trying to navigate the ever-changing world of real estate.
Come with us as we explore topics that are always relevant, never boring, and designed with you in mind. So today we're here with Sarah Fothergill and Ben Goheen, and we're going to discuss home inspections. Now, this comes from a client of mine who recently, she's a first-time home buyer, and we found her dream home. After searching for a long time, she wanted some character, had some specific requests.
Nice.
We found it. Now, it came with a pre-home inspection, so she didn't have to get one herself, which was the plan initially.
Great.
It's 35 pages. Now, some home inspectors will label the pages and the information red, green, yellow.
Okay.
This is an issue, but not a big deal. This is an issue, but, you probably want to deal with it. And this is a major issue. Some don't. This home inspector didn't. And this buyer of mine calls me in a panic. There's 35 pages of things I have to fix. I can't afford that and buying the house. She was absolutely distraught.
Yep.
We had a call with the home inspector to kind of go over, what actually was wrong, what actually needed to be dealt with, and what was just kind of informational. And it led me to this topic for this episode. Because I feel like if you are a first-time home buyer or a buyer in general that has never seen a home inspection, it can be really overwhelming.
It's a lot,
yeah.
Especially 35 pages of black and white.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Right?
That is a lot to digest.
Right? And the thing is, with a home inspection, they're telling you absolutely every little thing that's wrong. This railing is wiggly. This piece of parging is cracked. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is actually really minimal and just information-based and not something you need to do much about.
Well, and from a first-time homebuyer perspective, sometimes you don't know the impact of some of these things. And so what might be for the average person just a regular piece of information, for someone who doesn't have any knowledge about home ownership or about aspects of a home, some of these things could seem like red flags or even deal breakers, which when you pitched this idea to me, I said, kind of sounds like a first date. Kind of sounds like that time period where you meet someone and you're trying to assess whether or not this is something that you want to truly hitch your wagon to. And I think that the parallel between a home inspection report and a first date, you're kind of looking at it and saying, okay, what is the information about this person or this home that is just regular run-of-the-mill information? What if it is maybe a red flag or two? And then what are for sure some of the deal breakers? Because I think that's different for everybody.
And I would say that the first red flag is that you brought a 35-page report to your first date. That's not a good start.
But some people might say they're detail-oriented. Red flags are different for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think, especially going back to the home inspection report, some of these things that might be cause for concern are things that can be fixed with money, things that could be fixed over time, things that are not necessarily truly detrimental to the structural integrity of the home, might just come down to personal preference.
Yeah, a really good point to think of too is that so I have a very short list of home inspectors that I trust to be able to deliver information correctly, identify the important aspects, and then give it to my clients in a way that does not freak them out, because it's very easy. If you think about it, I've had a home inspection report that said the dryer vent is full. So all of the lint is on the outside of the dryer vent, the cap is full, the grate is there, listed as a fire hazard, which it is, but it does not mean that taking 3 seconds to pull the lint out that prevents the fire hazard, but it sounds really, really like a bad thing.
Hazard, you panic.
Let's leave the house.
Well, because you might just read that one point, and I think that's sort of, especially for the first-time home buyer, I know we're kind of picking on them right now, but for folks that this is their first kick at the can, there's so much excitement and anticipation and nervousness going into this that they just want a good report. And so a lot of them are, is it pass, is it fail, is it pass or fail?
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. And that's terrifying, because we want a sure thing. We want the confidence in our purchase. And these reports are designed to instill confidence, but you've got to dig into them a little bit more. Absolutely. You can't just take it at face value. You've got to read through it. You've got to ask for an explanation and to navigate that to determine if it's the right choice for you. Because it might be right for you. It might not be right for the next guy, right? Mm-hmm. It all depends. Everyone's situation is different.
It might be right for you, but it affects the price.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm willing to take this on, but I know that I'm going to have to spend, around this ballpark number. So can we offer a little bit less than asking or than what I was going to, because I don't want to take that on financially. relating that back to a first date, do I want to pay for a second date?
Good question. Good question.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I really liked your thought about the color coding. I was a first-time home buyer not that long ago, and the inspection report is going to be full of there needs caulking here, maybe this window's cracked, but like, what is the cost? How much does it cost? I've tried my own hand at caulking. I'm terrible. Absolutely awful. So what's it cost to pay someone to do that? What's it cost for a window and then plus install? So having an inspector, Sean Binden from Inspect Homes is a great inspector that I use locally here, who color codes things. So green, yellow, red. This is something you should look into some more. The green stuff you kind of laugh over. Yellow stuff is more like, okay, the insulation is R20 value, should be, you know, standard for a new build is R60, so you can replace it. But that's a value add you can put into the home. So resale wise, when your first time home buyer is getting into their second home and looking at it, they go, hey, I've got a receipt. I've increased the value of this home, this 1970 bungalow that has crappy insulation, to R60 value for you.
And that's
So
a
that's a good value add.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
that's
different way
where
to spin that conversation.
having a home inspector that you trust and that is willing to have those conversations, like so Karen Cofield, for example, amazing home inspector, does a really thorough job and is more than willing to have a phone call or meet in person to go over her findings to help you with that like list of, okay, so I'm going to need to deal with ABC, and then I can reach out to these people to find out it's going to cost me E. You know, and give you that, build that confidence back versus just seeing a list 35 pages long of things that you might need to do to your home.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that bridges back into a great thing that you did with your clients. So that example you gave, which is a real person who went through that 35-page report, what you did, and you told me after, was that you got the inspector on the phone to just talk with that person and go, oh no, like this is what I meant. This is the thing. And it gave them confidence in what happened from there.
And then we went over it afterwards and said, okay, so based on that conversation, what are the things that are still standing out to you as a red flag or an orange flag or not a green flag? Are those things you're willing to take on?
Awesome.
You know?
And another conversation you can have is, okay, so say for whatever reason, the insulation, I'm picking on that, is the sticking factor here. Okay, well, it's pretty easy for me to go back to the listing agent and go, hey, home inspection's great, ready to remove. However, I need to get a contractor in to price out the insulation so that we can actually get rid of this condition and firm up.
And most sellers are willing to accommodate.
They're going to
that
do
stuff.
it.
Like they want to sell the home as much as you want to buy a home.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So usually they're willing to work with you.
Absolutely.
To kind of find some middle ground to
Yeah,
get those things
has to
done.
be within reason, has to have a reason to be able to do that. You can't just ask for random contractors to come through at odd times. But if you have hey, I'll remove conditions if we can go take a look at this type of thing, then that works out quite well.
I had a situation recently where my clients went conditional on a home. We were getting the home inspection and we found some major structural issues. We called the selling agent and confirmed that we were able to bring a contractor in right then.
Cool.
They came, gave us a rough quote, and then they were able to take that information and decide, okay, is this a deal breaker for me or not? Like you're on a first date, you find out that they have bad credit.
Okay.
I had a big connection with you, and you were forthcoming with me for this information, and you're saying that you're willing to work on it, and I happen to be really good with money. That's something I'm willing to take on. But maybe you're buying the house at top dollar and you can't factor in the price of fixing the foundation, or you have bad credit too and you need to hit your wagon to someone that has
exactly. I need to fill this void. I can't add to it.
Yeah.
So just finding out, like, what are your deal breakers and not just stopping at the, oh, this information is too much, I can't move forward. Find out the information and then find out the solutions. Right. Because there's a solution to everything. It's just, is the solution something you're willing to do or take on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it's important, too, to remind ourselves that there can be really good things on the other side of hard work. And I think that when you look at some of these homes, and let's be honest, some people, when we meet them for the first time, we might be getting a fixer-upper vibe. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's fair to say that if we can see potential and we can see value, for everyone, they have to determine, okay, how much am I going to bring to the table? How much am I going to invest in this home for it to be worth it to me in the end? But I think that there's a lot of value potential in, especially, some of these older homes, for example. We talked a couple weeks ago about the gentrification process and how a lot of people are seeing value where there used to be great value, and now they're coming and they're revitalizing these neighborhoods, they're renewing these homes, and to see potential where other people haven't, or maybe other people are scared or or they're not willing to commit, I think is really beautiful. And I think that you then see this restoration process and these homes brought back to life and that value restored to where it was all along.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Cozy. We all love a good happy ending.
Yeah.
So if you get a home inspection and it scares you, don't let it scare you into walking away before you dig a little deeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good point.
Thanks for listening. I'm Danielle.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ben.
And we can't wait to talk to you next week. If you have any questions regarding real estate, please feel free to reach out at our website, theroyalgroup.ca, or the Royle Group on any social media platforms.
See you around.